So today I wanted to talk about some of the worst possible pieces of advice or just things you can do in general for when you're going newly natural or going back to natural or just trying to learn to love your hair. If you're new here, my name is Joyel. I like to talk about hair, sometimes dabble a little bit in makeup and skincare, but let's start with my first piece of advice, which is, for the love of all that is holy, do not only go into protective styles as soon as you are natural. Do not go into braids. Don't start wearing wigs. I advocate for going the first year, so after you have freshly big chopped, go 1 whole year without doing any protective styles. That way you're actually giving yourself the opportunity to really get to know your hair. How are you gonna know what it needs if you're not actually gonna work with it? If you've never worked with your natural hair before, you've never really worn your natural hair before, the first year is going to give you the opportunity to kind of experiment and dabble in different products and different natural styles, such as maybe twist outs as it starts to get a little bit longer, maybe braid outs, figuring out the best ways to detangle it. But if you're constantly hiding it under extensions, wigs, you're not going to actually know how to work or deal with your hair. Nor will that allow you to kind of visualize and see yourself as you naturally look. You know, how does your natural hair fit with your aesthetic? You won't know if you're constantly hiding it under things. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes new naturals do, is they do the big chop and then they immediately just start going into the protective styles and then just end up never really learning how to actually work with their hair. The second worst piece of advice that I get is that you don't need to wear a bonnet. That is completely false. I hear all the time women complaining of hair breakage, their hair's not growing, they can't maintain a style, and more often than not it's because they're not actually wearing a bonnet to protect their hair at night. You can use a silk or satin pillowcase to help reduce damage, but the bonnet is going to help kind of hold your hair in that style. I feel that it does a much better job at protecting my hair, and it has greatly reduced any breakage that I used to have. So even when I had relaxed hair, and even when I had done a big chop many years ago, when my hair had first fallen out, if you haven't seen that video, I will try and put a link up here. I'll try to link it up here for you. But I had gone natural because I had a horrible experience with some hair dye and all my hair broke off. But I never wore a bonnet after, and I didn't have nearly as much growth as I have had in the last 3 years. The satin bonnet is going to help protect your hair from that friction against your pillow or your mattress, whatever you lay on, and it's going to help also to help maintain any styles, help maintain any of the moisture from your products in your hair, not keeping it moist and damp, but again, that friction is going to pull a lot of that moisture and product out of your hair. The bonnet helps protect against that. So if you're having a lot of breakage and you do not currently own a bonnet, get a bonnet. It'll completely change your hair. If you need help finding one, I don't suggest Sally's, I suggest actually going on Etsy. You can find many black women who hand make their own bonnets, and they're amazing. So I definitely suggest checking out Etsy. I currently wear the bonnet by Swirly Curly. I have coupon codes and everything down below if you guys would like to purchase that one, but I definitely suggest, highly suggest, investing in a good bonnet. For my third one, this is my personal opinion, I do not think only finger detangling your hair is the best option. I suggest getting something such as the Felicia Leatherwood brush. That doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes for people a Denman brush works, or just a regular wide tooth comb. Finger detangling is great. I find it to be a good pre-detangling to using some kind of comb. But the finger detangling doesn't always get all the smaller knots. In my personal experience, I've also read this on Lipstick Alley, I've read this on other Google forums and things of that sort, and I don't find that only finger detangling helps fight against fairy knots. If you find that your hair is having trouble with becoming very easily matted, very easily tangled in on itself, please try using at least a wide tooth comb on your wash days after you have deep conditioned, and also either with leave-in conditioner or just regular conditioner on your hair in the shower, and on damp hair, detangling with some kind of utensil. You're gonna have much better luck getting all those knots out of your hair. And for my last point, I have heard naturals say that deep conditioning is optional. In my experience, deep conditioning is what completely 180'd my hair experience. I didn't think deep conditioning was necessary. It wasn't something that I was even really doing very often when I first big chopped. I was maybe doing it like once a month, once every other month. Once I started doing it every single wash day, so instead of investing in regular conditioners, I put that money into a deep conditioner. Holy cow, less breakage on my hair. My hair was much easier to get through. It was softer, more manipulatable. It felt stronger, it felt thicker. I already have very thick hair. This is another thing when I hear women or other naturals complaining that they are experiencing very dry hair with lots of breakage, and it's usually because they are also not deep conditioning during their wash days. Please invest in deep conditioners. They are not the same as a daily conditioner. Daily conditioners are just a cream conditioner that is going to smooth the outside of the hair cuticle. Deep conditioners contain other ingredients and beneficial vitamins that help penetrate the hair shaft, that's gonna help replenish that moisture into your hair, which is again gonna help with the strength, maintaining of the moisture in your hair, and really reducing that breakage. It's gonna give your hair back what it needs after that shampoo process. So in my personal opinion, no, deep conditioning should not be optional when it comes to type 4 hair. And that's usually one of the biggest game changers for naturals who are having issues maintaining length on their hair. But as always, you need to always kind of experiment and see what works best for you and your natural hair. That's going to help it blossom and be the best that it can possibly be, the healthiest it can be. And if length is one of your goals, then I suggest following some of the advice that I have mentioned in this video. As always, if you have questions, you can find a link to having a personal Zoom call with me down in the description box below. And please leave a comment down below on any of your thoughts, maybe some of the worst hair advice that you have received or have heard of. Please don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to check out the merch. Keep blooming, and I'll see you guys in my next video.